Do you know the top 10 celebrities exposing Nickelodeon right now? Hey, how's it going? I'm your host Bridget Shields and let's get right into the video. Number 10. Jamie Lynn Spears. Zoey 101 was a boarding school set dramedy that hit Nickelodeon in January of 2005. Starring as protagonist Zoe Brooks, Jamie Lynn Spears was reportedly brought on by its creator Dan Schneider because she looked a lot like her older sister and superstar Britney Spears. But little did fans know there was actually a scandal brewing behind the set, as its star was just 16 when she fell pregnant, which would have been a bombshell for the very PG show. In her memoir, Things I Should Have Said, Jamie Lynn Spears confessed that her team decided that Britney Spears should not be told about her pregnancy as it was too risky. Quote, "The entire Spears team was already caught up in my sister's PR difficulties, and everyone around me just wanted to make this issue disappear." From there, her family and management pulled her out of school until they could figure out what to do next, and even took away her phone for fear that she would tell the world about the news. As a result, the actress said that her father even stopped speaking to her. But when the news got out, Nick immediately released a statement saying, "We respect Jamie Lynn's decision to take responsibility in this sensitive and personal situation." And after wrapping shooting for the 4th season of Zoey 101, the network went on to cancel the series. Number 9. Anne Walker Farrell. A director on Netflix's BoJack Horseman, Anne Walker Farrell wrote on Twitter that she was preyed upon by Nickelodeon showrunner Chris Savino 15 years ago when she was 20, when they both worked at the Cartoon Network. She wrote that she was speaking up for the young guns out there and also posted what appears to be a letter advising the unknown recipient that Savino should be terminated from Nickelodeon for being a predator and a liability. Anne's complaint was shared publicly and actually ended up working, as once the truth was exposed, it became a massive PR nightmare for the network, akin to their own version of Harvey Weinstein. The scandal became too much for the company to bear, and in 2017, Nick was forced to fire Savino over the allegations made by Anne and at least a dozen other women. It was a tough decision for them, considering the fact that he was one of their most prominent showrunners, who has been in the business since the early 90s. Number 8. Mark Summers. You might remember Mark Summers as the host of the Nick game show Double Dare, but the face of one of Nickelodeon's biggest 90s hits apparently doesn't think much of the channel, and he has made his opinion pretty clear in a 2013 interview. Quote, "The network is going in the dumper. Disney beats it. They have no idea what they're doing. They put on a bunch of cartoons and stuffed animals instead of real human beings that other people can associate with. The creative people are gone. It's become a how much money can we make from this merchandise and how many tours can we put out and steal money from the parents." Nickelodeon obviously did him dirty when you think about everything that he said. But his bitter rant was far from over, and in that same interview, when asked if he would ever return to the network, he grew frustrated and called the executives of Nick a bunch of a-holes who have been trying to screw him over ever since he left. It's entirely possible that his time at the network did not end well and they decided to blacklist him and get some kind of revenge for him leaving on bad terms. But maybe it wasn't all that simple, considering that in 2018 he returned to the Double Dare stage as the announcer for the revival of the show. Number 7. Josh Peck. The star of Drake and Josh actually read Jennette McCurdy's new memoir and shared some incredibly kind words about the actress, saying, "I think she's incredibly brave to tell her story and to be as honest as she is." Just like Jennette, Josh released his very own candid memoir this year called Happy People Are Annoying. In it, he opens up about the hurdles he faced as a former child star, including his weight struggles and year-long battle with substance misuse and addictions. Looking to feel better about himself, the actor explained in an interview that he lost 127 pounds in an 18-month time span while filming the show. But when that didn't bring him happiness, he admitted that he turned to alcohol and illicit substances for help. In the tell-all book, Josh disclosed his earnings on the show and revealed that he averaged roughly $15,000 per episode. But after paying a 20% fee to his agent, along with other fees to different managers, he wasn't left with very much at all. He also explained that he hasn't made any money off the show since it ended in 2007, despite the fact that reruns continue to play to this day, simply because kids TV doesn't have residuals. Number 6. Jennette McCurdy. The iCarly star recently released a book titled I'm Glad My Mom Died, which shocked fans to the core upon its release, because it reveals what really went on behind the cameras at Nick. Jennette exposed her traumatic experiences as a child star and detailed numerous instances where she felt exploited as an actor both on and off set. Describing the creator as mean-spirited, controlling, and terrifying, she alleged that Dan Schneider was extremely inappropriate with the cast, and at one point he was not even allowed to be on set with them and had to direct the episodes from a separate control room. She also opens up about the perils of young fame and reveals that she developed an eating disorder, partly due to pressure imposed on her by her mother. And if you had any remaining doubts about how serious her allegations are, Jennette also revealed that the network offered her $300,000 if she agreed to keep silent about her experiences. The 31-year-old said that the offer was made right after her stint in Sam and Cat ended in 2014, and at the time she said that it felt like hush money. In the end, after everything she had gone through as a child star, she rejected Nick's offer and has been vocal about her experiences ever since. Number 5. Avan Jogia. The Canadian actor had his breakthrough role playing Beck Oliver in Victorious, but after Jennette McCurdy's bombshell allegations surfaced, fans really started to question whether or not he had the same experience. In a recent TikTok video, Avan admitted that he did not actually remember filming the series at all, because he was blackout drunk almost every night. Quote, "When you don't remember a single plotline to a single Victorious episode, but you do remember going out partying every night." When one fan added that the show seems like a fever dream to her, Avan said, "Me too, and I was there." And when another fan asked, "So Beck was hungover all the time?" he said yes. This admission was a huge red flag because in Jennette's new memoir, she talks about the creator pressuring her to drink while she's underage and telling her that the Victorious get drunk together all the time. The iCarly kids are so wholesome. We need to give you guys a little edge. Sometime later, she claims that Schneider got in trouble with Nickelodeon for inappropriate behavior with the young cast and was not allowed to be near the actors anymore. So it's entirely possible that he was creeping on more than just one actor at the same time. Number 4. Katina Waters. In 2014, the stuntwoman from iCarly claimed that the production ruined her career by recklessly dropping her from far too high above the ground, causing some really horrific injuries. In a stunt gone wrong, Katina Waters was supposed to be dropped slowly from the ceiling for an episode of iCarly in 2011. She was to be slowly lowered to the ground while still attached to a wire. Instead, she claims that the person operating the descender machine dropped her without warning and she crashed to the floor. The consequences of the incident were extremely gruesome, as the fall caused severe injuries to her leg, including fractured bones and torn ligaments. But the long-term effects on her health were even worse for her career. Waters was a highly successful stunt actor who performed in dozens of TV shows and movies, but of course she missed out on a lot of work following the incident. Subsequently, she decided to sue the producer, Schneider's Bakery, plus Nickelodeon and MTV networks for the pain, suffering, and loss of earnings as a result of the incident. While the lawsuit was a really bad look for Nick, it shined a light on the mistreatment of the cast and crew on some of their biggest shows. Number 3. Caitlin Sanchez. The network had a really big mess on their hands when Caitlin Sanchez, the teenager who played Dora the Explorer for over 3 years, alleged that when she made the deal with Nickelodeon to voice the iconic character, she was given just 22 minutes to sign the contract without an experienced lawyer. The young star allegedly did so under duress and with the promise that she'd receive residuals for her work, plus money from merchandising, which was not true at all. Dora the Explorer is now an $11 billion global brand, so the contract that Caitlin signed actually conned her out of millions of dollars. In 2010, she decided to sue Nickelodeon and MTV networks, specifically citing unpaid working hours as well as being paid only $40 for promotional appearances. The legal battle made headlines throughout the world, and thanks to statements made by Caitlin's attorney that if Nickelodeon refused to pay up by a certain date, he'd expose their humiliating secrets. Although she was somewhat successful in the end and received a settlement of $500,000, she later tried to resue because she and her family alleged that their attorney at the time acted fraudulently and neglected to tell them about taxes and lawyer fees. But by now, many people realize that the network has a problematic history of underpaying their child stars. Number 2. Angelique Bates. The actress who was one of the original cast members on Nick's hit sketch comedy show All That exposed the reality behind the cameras when she spoke to the Shade Room in 2016. Angelique explained some of the horrors she endured, such as physical, emotional, and mental mistreatment from her mother in front of producers who not only turned the other cheek, but strongly urged her to just accept the violence and remain silent. She said that she was only 12 years old when the nightmare began, and that producers and cast members could hear her yelling, but nothing was done to help her. According to Angelique, Child Protective Services did eventually show up in 1996, but she said the adults on set pressured her to stay silent. Angelique's mother, Dee Bates, came forward in support of her daughter, although she tried to shift the blame onto the network. Whatever the case with her mother's questionable side of the story, the former child star also explained that she was pretty much released from her contract at age 15, and claimed that she was blackballed by the entertainment industry as a result. But to this day, Nickelodeon has never come forward with an official response to the accusations. Number 1. Alexa Nikolas. The former Zoey 101 star has recently come forward with her own Nickelodeon horror story while protesting outside of Nick's Burbank headquarters. According to TMZ, the 30-year-old actress organized the heated protest herself in order to bring more of her own disturbing allegations to light, specifically against iCarly series creator Dan Schneider. In recent years, Alexa has been active in her advocacy for survivors of violence, as she leads her own organization called Eat Predators. While standing at the studio's front doors, she alleged that during her time on the show, she and fellow child actors were not safe, so she organized a protest at the studio to speak up and try to change things by taking matters into her own hands. Alexa revealed that she didn't feel Nickelodeon had her best interest in mind, and called her entire experience there traumatic. She believes in exposing the truth about the network's business practices, and calls out Nick's excessive use of NDAs, which she says silence children and prevent them from getting help. She even brought up the fact that Nick has yet to respond to the allegations from Jennette or herself, or announce that they plan to take any kind of action at all. Well, that's it for today's list. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.